A reading from the book of Leviticus. The Lord said to Moses on Mount Sinai, 7 weeks of years shall you count, 7 times 7 years, so that the 7 cycles amount to 49 years. Then on the 10th day of the 7th month, let the trumpet sound. On this, the Day of Atonement, the trumpet blast shall re-echo throughout your land. This 50th year you shall make sacred by proclaiming liberty in the land for all its inhabitants. It shall be a jubilee for you, when every one of you shall return to his own property, every one to his own family estate. In this 50th year, your year of Jubilee, you shall not sow, nor shall you reap the aftergrowth, or pick the grapes from the untrimmed vines. Since this is the Jubilee, which shall be sacred for you, you may not eat of its produce, except as taken directly from the field. In this year of Jubilee, then, every one of you shall return to his own property. Therefore, when you sell any land to your neighbor, or buy any from him, do not deal unfairly. On the basis of the number of years since the last Jubilee, shall you purchase the land from your neighbor. And so also on the basis of the number of years for crops, shall he sell it to you. When the years are many, the price shall be so much the more. When the years are few, the price shall be so much the less. For it is really the number of crops that he sells you. Do not deal unfairly then, but stand in fear of your God. I, the Lord, am your God. The word of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
O God, let all the nations praise you. May God have pity on us and bless us. May he let his face shine upon us. So may your way be known upon earth, among all nations, your salvation. O God, let all the nations praise you. May the nations be glad and exult because you rule the peoples in equity. The nations on the earth you guide. O God, may all the nations praise you. The earth has yielded its fruits. God, our God, has blessed us. May God bless us. And may all the ends of the earth fear him. O God, may all the nations praise you. Alleluia. 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 Blessed are they who are persecuted for the sake of righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Alleluia. Alleluia.
The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. Herod the Tetrarch heard of the reputation of Jesus and said to his servants, "This man is John the Baptist. He has been raised from the dead. That is why mighty powers are at work in him." How Herod had arrested John, bound him, and put him in prison on account of Herodias, the wife of his brother Philip. For John had said to him, "It is not lawful for you to have her." Although he wanted to kill him, he feared the people, for they regarded him as a prophet. At a birthday celebration for Herod, the daughter of Herodias performed a dance before the guests and delighted Herod so much that he swore to give her whatever she might ask for. Prompted by her mother, she said, "Give me here on a platter the head of John the Baptist." The king was distressed, but because of his oaths and the guests who were present, he ordered that it be given, and he had John beheaded in prison. His head was brought in on a platter and given to the girl, who took it and gave it to her mother. His disciples came and took away the corpse and buried him, and they went and told Jesus. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise the Lord Jesus Christ.
Good morning. Well, the Gospel was grim, and the first reading was complicated. But I think the first reading really does give us something to think about. And it reminds us of how radical God's love for all is. And it focused on what's called the Great Year of Jubilee for the Israelites. And it was unique to their culture. They were, by the time they entered the Promised Land, an agrarian people. And it was the intention of God that there never be an underclass. And so, every 50th year, if for whatever reason you had fallen on hard times and had to sell your property or your family estate, every 50th year you would return to your former land, and it was to be returned to you. Now, how faithfully that got carried out, I'm not sure. How faithfully wealthy landowners were to return property that was no longer justly theirs, I don't know. But what we do know, it was in the mind and heart of God that all the children of Israel would be able to enjoy the fruit of the land collectively. When you think for a moment about the 10 Commandments, think how the first 3 relate to our relationship to God. And the next 7 relate us to how we relate to one another. That in itself should remind us that God is very concerned, not about some, but all. And then when you get to Jesus, especially in Matthew's Gospel, you come to that somewhat terrifying teaching. I was hungry, and you fed me. I was naked, and you clothed me. I was without a home, and you sheltered me. I was sick, and you cared for me. When did we do these things? So long as you did it to one of these, the least of my brothers and sisters, you did it to me. It's very clear that in the mind and heart of God, love is to be extended, not to some, but to all. The Israelites enshrine that with their great year of Jubilee. Again, I'm not sure how faithful they were to us, to it, just as you and I are not always faithful to the counsel to care for all others. But the wonder is, it's in the heart of God that we do so, which in itself, hopefully, would prompt us to at least try to do so.